Welcome to the Second Win Boxing Meet. I'm your host, Rashid Hammond, and alongside...
It's your boy, Caesar Fantastic, and today we are honored to be in the presence of Zahir King Raheem. What's going on, man? How's it going?
Yeah, let's get it, yo. What's happening, man? I'm pleased to be here. What an honor. Thank you.
Hey,
I heard
man.
so much about your show, man. Your podcast, and I couldn't wait to get on.
Hey, man, we honored to have you, man.
Win, baby.
Yes, indeed.
That's when the fights, man. That's
Yes,
when the fights. That's
all
second
the
win.
time. Yes, indeed, man.
Yeah. So
right.
let's get started, man. What got you started in boxing?
Poverty,
Yeah.
man. You know what I mean? My parents was very strict with me. You know, I have 5 brothers and sisters. They was real strict. Like, we couldn't play with kids. They weren't Muslim. Couldn't hang out. So went to private schools. One day my dad went out with a friend of his and he ain't come home a couple of days. He ain't come home. When he did come home, he left back out with my mom. They never came back for a couple of days. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
In the house, man. You know, I got brothers and sisters. We was hungry. Went down to a couple stores. Found out how to hustle, carry people groceries to their car for money. Went into a boxing gym and realized, man, I'm gonna use that to get out. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm not saying it was easy.
Mhm.
Not saying it was easy, you know, but it took me to the gym. Hey, I did an interview with a guy, about a guy you know, Ray Massey.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so he asked me a question. He said, "Hey, man, because we fought in the Olympic trials."
Yeah.
And he asked me, he said, "Man, what was it that drove you? Where did you get your drive from?"
Okay.
And when I explained my situation and where I was coming from, he said, "Wow, I didn't know that, man. I didn't have it that rough. I just wanted a trophy."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I didn't know that was possible. You know, I'm thinking if you boxing, it's a lot easier sports to play than boxing. You hear because
Mhm.
the might don't got nowhere else to go.
Facts.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You don't play boxing, but he told me he was playing boxing. He just wanted a trophy.
Nah, see, it was like for me too, man. The same thing. It was poverty. I wanted to get out the hood, so
Oh, yeah.
So when my father finally made it happen, I stopped boxing. That's what made me stop.
Wow.
Was the drive to survive was over. You know what I'm saying? It was like I moved to the suburbs, like, so I was living in DC, Southeast DC, and went to Newport News, Virginia. And I realized that, that I was really trying to survive and find a better way for me, myself, and my family. But once I went there, it was like, man, what am I fighting for now? So,
wow. Hey, everybody that goes to a boxing gym, I don't care who it is, whether it's white collar, blue collar, hood, it don't matter. Everybody got a purpose when they walk in that gym. They fighting for something.
facts.
Whether it's a broken heart, whether it's discipline, everybody's fighting for an eternal solution for their own problems in boxing. And I watch people change when they come in there. I can put a kid right now in the ring, watch him shadow box and tell you everything about him,
Yeah.
about his life, just how he moved. I see a kid and he throwing punches a lot harder and faster than others, and he closing his eyes and he just punching. Oh, that's anger. You see a kid, he can be methodical. He can be really looking and moving. As soon as he get hit, he loses it. It tells me another thing. And he can be one of the best in the world, but mentally, something will stop him.
Hey, man, that same tournament that you and Ray fought in, I was supposed, I was 119 as well.
Oh, no, you wasn't.
Yeah,
Ooh,
man.
you gonna get these hands back.
So I fought the Golden Glove Nationals. You didn't fight that one. I think you didn't choose to fight that one.
I knew you was there.
Yeah. No, man. We both was running from each other, man. So
respect.
Yeah, man. So you Ray, me and Ray was on the same we was from the same team, same gym. So he took
Ray?
No, wait, we from
got sparred one time. He said, man, I was waxing him. He said, man, I was hitting him. He couldn't touch me. That's why he never made it out to the regionals.
hell no, not me.
Nah, I'm joking. He didn't say that. I'm just starting. He didn't say that.
No, I know. Yeah, he like a brother, man. You know what I'm saying? He like a brother.
I'm joking. Ray speaks very highly of you, man.
Yes, indeed. He like a brother, man.
Yes, sir.
But we look forward, man. When I didn't know you was going to fight the Eastern Trials myself, man, when you went there. And I let Ray go because because I couldn't go to both. I couldn't go to the gloves and do that tournament. So, but man, when I found out that you did go there, I was like, man, that would have been some good work, though. You know what I'm saying?
I was already qualified for the games. I was doing that to stay sharp.
I feel you. That's what I was told. That's what I was told too, man.
I was that to stay sharp, and man, it was rough.
Yeah.
They had some hitters now.
Man, you was, man. I remember, man. This was like 91. You was I think you still a junior then.
Yeah.
And
you got good memory.
Man, you fought at the Joe Frazier's gym in the regionals.
Wow.
Listen,
I fought
man.
Teddy Johnson.
Yeah, Ted, I was there,
Teddy
dude.
Johnson. And guess what? I was 75 pounds. He was 90.
I remember it, man. Teddy Johnson used to wear the big patch. Remember?
Now I'm solid.
That's right, brother. He got the ham on him too.
He down there, man. They got that.
They keep the guns everywhere they go, man. So Teddy used to have Then he used to have a big patch in the back of his head.
And you had the two brothers. It was two brothers.
Two brothers, exactly. Yeah. And I took, man, listen, one thing about me when I used to go to the regionals and tournaments, right? I would take something from everybody. You hit Teddy with a triple hook. I've been throwing it. And everybody thought that came from me, brother. That was from you, man.
Oh, salute.
I've been throwing triple hooks ever since. Everybody thought I'm trying to tell you. Hey, man, I took notes for that, brother. You was a bad boy, man. You was a bad fighter, man. Yeah, but I remember Teddy in it because he was mixed. He was mixed. They got like a white mother and a black father or something.
On Instagram.
Oh, he on Instagram?
Yeah, him and his brothers. I think he is a police officer or a fire department.
Okay, man. Tell him next time you talk to them, tell him I said what's up, man.
I sure will, man.
Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed. Philly definitely had, man. That's and coming from that town, man. You brothers, man, was not to be played with, and I'm sure a lot of fighters say that about DC fighters too. But Philly, when I went to Joe Frazier's gym, I looked down on the floor. All I saw was blood everywhere. I see these dudes up here cutting each other, man.
They're throwing that sharp leather.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man. I'm gonna let brother C's go ahead because he got some good questions for you, man.
Just wanted to get into how rigorous was that come up in Philly, man, at that time. With the rich boxing history and everything. How rigorous was it?
I mean, it was an experience. You know what I mean? It was an experience because coming up in the recreation center, watching guys like Boogaloo Watts, Choo Charlie Brown, and I'm sorry, what's his name, man? Oh man, what's his name? He I don't know if you was. Well, no, y'all probably wasn't there. Oh man, I feel horrible. He was a featherweight from Philly. Dang, he before my time though. Before our time. He's older than us, but make a long story short, man, being around those guys, man, watching them do it, watching them make mistakes, watching their successes and their mistakes, you know what I mean? It was all a learning lesson for me to understand, I can go far. Fred Jenkins, my first trainer, you know what I mean? He always took me to the fights, rocking Rodney Moore. He wasn't the world champ, but you know what I mean? He was out there holding his own. He fought Trinidad, fought a couple guys with names, you know what I mean? He won bad, rocking Rodney Moore, shout out. Choo Charlie Brown. Boogaloo Watts, man, Marvin Machine Gun Harris, Malik Scott. But what about Anthony Thompson?
Yeah.
You know Anthony Thompson?
Anthony Thompson, I remember him kind of fast guy, right? Short.
147. What about Malik Scott? What you think about Malik Scott?
Malik Scott, I don't remember Malik Scott.
He's a heavyweight, man. He was an amateur. He was after me. He was after us, though.
Okay.
He's Wilder now.
Yeah, it's Wilder trainer.
Malik Scott about my age. He born like 1980. I remember Malik. Yeah, I remember Malik. Yeah. I didn't know Malik was from Philly though.
Yeah, he from the rack, same gym.
Yeah, I remember Malik. 'Cause Malik went to a couple of nationals in the silver gloves and stuff like that, I think. Yeah.
Big young boy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he picked up.
Yeah, I remember Malik.
Small world.
Yeah, man. So you you know what I'm saying, you had poverty, and that was your motivation, man. When you went pro, did you take that same motivation into to your drive to become, you know what I'm saying, successful?
I mean, you got to think when I left home, I was 12 years old, 13. I was in 8th grade. When I left home, I was in 8th grade, man. I went to Marquette, Michigan. I got a deal. I left home. I ain't look back. You know what I mean? I left. So I was staying in Marquette, Michigan with Vernon Forrest, Al Mitchell. You know, I'm out there with them. I'm like 13, 12 years old, man. And I'm leaving the college going to a middle school. I'm the only black kid there.
Yeah.
It was a different experience. When they went and hung out, guess what? I had a friend in middle school tell me, yo, you want to go to the club with us tonight? We're in middle school now. I'm like, the club out here, like we in the mountains of Michigan. Like, what club we going to?
Right.
He like, nah, dude, I'll have my dad pick you up and we're going to go out. I said, okay. Yo, they picked me up from the college, take me to his crib, man. We sit in the living room. He gets up and says, yo, come on. He tells me to come to the kitchen and gives me a snowsuit. And I'm looking like, he said, put it on, come on. Then gives me a helmet. Opens the back door, dude, there's 5 snowmobiles lined up. I jump on it, his brother, his sister, and his other brother. We gone all down the trail. The trails opened up to a big giant lot, man. It's a club. And there's probably hundreds of more snowmobiles and everybody in the joint partying.
Wow.
Party. I said, yo, you trying to experience? I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. In my life. And it's a beautiful place up there.
But you there with Al Mitchell? Al Mitchell got you there?
Rest in peace.
Al Mitchell got you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. Yep. I remember Al being up there, man. Yep. Speaking of that 1996 group, that was the tournament of Philly. That was a Philly core right there, man.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, sir. From the head coach to 2 Olympians. You know, that was the Philly crew right there. Really, if you really know, because like we consider 76 like the DMV DC squad because we had like 3 Olympians, but you had a head trainer and 2 Olympians. So y'all, that was the Philly core right there.
I mean,
man.
You got to think. Al Mitchell trained at the recreation center with Fred Jenkins, where I trained at. He either went to Marquette, Michigan. He seen me from there go to the winter junior Olympics. So he sent me an invite to come up there.
Okay.
So it's all the same teachings, all the same things.
Facts. So Marquette, Michigan. I remember going there in '94, man. And hey, you talking them white? Excuse me, I gotta say this though. That the projects, man, they got white projects up that joint, man. They act like us, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Like where we been in Michigan?
In Marquette, Michigan.
Yeah. It was like West Virginia.
Yep. You ain't lying, man. They love the brothers, though, Joe. Yeah. Couple of fighters that married a couple of them, had kids by them and everything, man.
They never come back.
Never come back. I'm not lying. That's real deal, man.
Oh, that's funny.
So let me make this call right fast, brother. Get this special guest that I supposed to hopefully answer the phone. But he's expecting the call. Hold on one second.
Has been forwarded to an automated.
Hold on. Let me. I'll get him through. Hold on. He was ready too. Hold on.
While he doing that, let's talk about that team and your experience out there with like David Reed, Floyd Mayweather, Eric Morrell, and all them. What was the experience like out there?
Where Vegas?
At that in the Olympics in Atlanta in '96.
I mean, that was futuristic.
I
mean, you got to think. They didn't give us IDs. They get retina scanners for IDs. You know what I mean? Seeing all them people in there. I never felt so American in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was very patriotic.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's up, man.
I enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I enjoyed to have the whole country behind you like that. I mean, I enjoyed that because I have never had that much support from my country as a pro.
Yeah.
We're gonna try this again.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Listen, I got a gentleman on the line right now, right? You guys, listen to this. Listen to this story. These two are Olympians. Both of them are Olympians. One was the actual Olympian fighter. One was his alternate, who later found out they were cousins.
Steve! Steve! Yeah, I want to start you, Jack. Where you at?
Yeah, I'm in my car, man.
Hey, let me tell you something about Steve, man. He a dirty dude, man. This dude turned out, he turned one side of the family against the other. We both united. He's
We almost had a civil war, man.
Yeah,
It was funny.
I go to my cousin crib, my favorite uncle tomorrow. Yeah, my nephew Steve called. He gonna whip your ass. I said, what? I'm like, damn, Uncle, I thought we was family. Nah, that's my brother nephew. I said, oh, it's on and popping, Jack.
My mom and dad kept calling me. I was on base, and I didn't want to answer their phone call because I was too busy concentrating. But they was calling me 24/7 on base, and so when it was finally over, I said, why y'all keep calling me? They said, because we wanted to tell you was fighting your cousin. I didn't even know. I was like, wow, Mom. I thought y'all was calling me to tell me that. Yup, they was calling me to tell me you fighting your cousin.
Yes,
and like
indeed.
you said, like you said, my our uncles, man, we almost had a civil war in our house.
But I'm gonna tell you one thing they knew for sure is that pit bull wasn't beating that Labrador.
Zahir was the best fighter I fought, man. It was so hard trying to fight him, and I heard so much about him, and that was the thing. I heard so much about him, but I couldn't picture. I didn't know who he was. And the funny thing about it, we was in the airport so we were looking at each other, and he was looking at me. I didn't know it was him. He was standing with Floyd Mayweather and Zab Judah. I knew that one of them was Zahir Raheem, but I didn't know which one it was.
Oh, wow.
Hey, yo, but the crazy part about it is, I've been on this mission since I was a kid. Where he come from at the last minute, and the amateurs are popping on the limit trials tomorrow. I got to fight. He my last fight to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, this dude Steve was beating. I mean,
everybody
fighters that was giving me problems. Jesus Vegas.
Yep.
I mean, there's a couple Mexicans that I didn't want to run into in that tournament, and Steve smoked them. And
Smoked
I'm like, but who is Steve Carter? I never seen him before.
Right.
I never matched him in a tournament all these years. Where he come from?
Right.
Oh, that's your cousin. Oh, the pressure was on, man. The pressure was on. I was running 2 miles extra.
Right. Because families, they got to have the bragging rights right at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, and that was the funny part, man, is when he wouldn't tell me after it was all over. I didn't know who I was, but I didn't know who he was. But he played it right, because like you said, he didn't tell me that we was cousins until after it was all over, because he wanted to beat me fair and square. So he could, you know what I mean? So I couldn't say, I'll let him win because that's my cousin. Nah,
right.
He wanted to beat me fair and square. You know what I mean? So he kept it on the low.
Oh, wow. That's good, man. Listen.
If I had to, if he won, what I'm gonna say? I ain't know.
Right. Man, that was one when I heard that story back then, right? I was like, man, come find out Steve and Zahir are cousins. Cause me and Steve fought. I was a junior at the time. Steve didn't know I was a junior. My father, I couldn't get fights with no open fighters. I mean, couldn't get no fight with no junior fighters because I was the only ranked fighter at the time. So when me and Steve fought, Steve was like, at the end of the fight, my father said, man, my son is 16 years old. He's like, no way. He said, no way. But Steve he would smother you, man. He'd get on you and smother your punches, and it took me on another level. That was my first 3 minutes. Yes, indeed. And that was my first 3 minute fight, you know what I'm saying? So it was a different different experience for me. So, but to hear y'all story, man, at the end, I was like, damn, I didn't know they were cousins. I mean, that story got all over USA Boxing after everybody found out about it, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man, it was deep, man. But like I said, it was fun. But when I finally found out who Zahir was, because I heard of his name when I first started boxing, and that was when I was 16. We had a friend. His name was Mike Brittenham. He used to come to Harrisburg.
Okay.
And Mike brought out a picture. He had a picture of Zahir, and he said, "This is my homie Zahir." And I said, "Man, you know what? I remember that." I said, "That name sounds familiar," but like I said, I didn't know who he was, so I didn't pay no attention. And then here it is, 5 years later, I'm fighting that same dude that's in that picture. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, it was a good, good history lesson, and everything turned out to be, be good, and everybody's cool in the family. Ain't nobody trying to kill each other no more.
But listen though, man, that proves that y'all had the best too. That shows family bloodline with how special
Genetics.
it is to come from that bloodline, man.
Some genetics.
Right.
Damn, come on, 1 and 2, man. Both Olympians, because you still you're Olympian regardless though. So true Olympians represent that bloodline of that same year, special, man.
Hey, Zahir my claim to fame, man.
Oh, we lost her. Oh, there you go.
Did he? You got him?
Yeah, he back on. Yeah, I thought I lost him for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, he's my claim to fame, man. I'm like, I'm related to my man, that Olympian, 119 pound bantamweight.
Yes, indeed,
yeah,
man.
My cousin.
Right.
Yeah,
so, man, how was that for you guys, man? When the Olympics was, when you found out that you were related, how was that for you guys to work with each other now that you are? Because once you become on a team, you got to work together now. So, did y'all have a special relationship after that because of that, or was it the same business as usual?
For me, it was pretty much the same, but it was a little bit different because I know that's my cousin now. But all in all, for me though, I was so tired, man. I just wanted to go home.
Right.
And so, because I've been training for a year and a half just to make the team.
Right, I got you, man.
Like, man. And then to have 3 more months of training camp after I was in the Navy training camp for 7 months.
Ooh,
so
I
was in training for a total of 10 months.
Yeah,
so
that's
I was
me.
like, man, look, I just want to go home, But we didn't get a chance to work together.
Okay.
Because they had us, they didn't want the Olympians and the Alternates boxing each other.
Okay.
For obvious reasons, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would end up sparring with Floyd.
Okay.
And I was sparring with Floyd, and
they didn't let the Alternates of the same weight spar each other.
Okay.
Because they didn't want
they wouldn't let us
dirty to hurt the person that was going to get them out. So
I understand. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because that shit was going to clock Zahir, man. I was going to get it. I was going to get it. Being right close to the Olympics and losing, I was going to clock you.
Okay. That makes sense, though, now, because that could cause some conspiracy stuff going down there with the admin. Like, he'll try to elbow you on purpose so he can get your spot and stuff like that.
Right. Because that was my, I didn't think about it. I did think about that. I thought about that hard.
Oh, man, that's funny. I got to get my cousin. I got to elbow my cousin in and step on his foot or something, man.
So what they did was, like I said, they moved me up.
Okay.
And I was sparring with Floyd and Mark Burst.
Okay.
And, and people, I would either move up to 125 or move down to 112, spar Eric Morrell and Ramesses Patterson. But they wouldn't let us spar with the Olympians because, like you said, for obvious reasons. So, man, that was a cool experience.
That's amazing, man. Yeah. I know you guys remember in Colorado Springs those the story about the Olympic team that died in the plane crash. Because I remember when I went there, man, in Colorado that time.
That was before I heard about it, man. That was before I was boxing.
Yeah.
I did hear about it though.
Yeah, because I remember going to Colorado and they would drill us about that story. You know what I'm saying? And do y'all remember that food in Colorado, man? With how you farting and
on point,
man. I had a story about that.
be on point, man. You be tearing it up. Then they give you those with the little meals, like the money to go out and stuff like that. I used to love it.
Look,
Yes, indeed. Per diems and stuff. Yeah.
I fought Deion Shepard.
Okay.
And I said, somebody got to stay up here with Coach for the weekend, for the whole week, because the tournament was for the whole week.
Okay.
So I couldn't make 119. It was hard for me to make 119, man.
Yeah.
And being in Colorado was draining you.
Man, it tear you off.
I made it. I made it up in my mind. I said, I'm going home. I didn't say I was losing. I just said I'm going home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So after I fought Deion Shepard, I had lost. And I wasn't mad about it or nothing, but Coach Hunter wasn't looking for me, and that's where he found me at, in the cafeteria, man. Yeah, he found me, and I was eating, man.
Man, you get it in up there, man. That's my first and only time going on, those high dives they had there, just, at the swimming pool. I used to hit that joint, man. That's my only time ever getting on a high dive was in Colorado.
Colorado is so high in altitude,
yeah.
Man. I can't believe it. And I was coming from sea level. I think that's part of the reason why I lost, because I was coming from sea level. We came up there. The fight was on Monday. We got to Colorado Saturday night. So we didn't have time. You
need about 2 weeks
to acclimate to the weather. Yeah,
you need about 2 weeks to get ready for that up there, man. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And that was my first time there. I couldn't wait to go home.
So Zahir, as Olympian, right? What was that experience like for you, man?
I mean, it was a life dream experience. Something that I always wanted to do as a kid. Everybody wants to go to the Olympics and want to go medal when you're in the sport.
Right.
When I was training for it as an amateur, I just wanted to go to the Olympics, man. I wanted to win a gold medal and go to the Olympics. That's all I wanted to do.
Right.
That was it. I wanted to go there and win. You know what I mean? And when I started getting around Floyd, I started hearing him talking about his dreams and admirations of turning pro.
Yeah.
And I think, wow, I never thought that far. I just want to do it out the hood. You know what I mean? If that means turning pro, then okay, then I want to do that too.
Right.
Then he talked about the things he seen his dad do, fighting Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yep.
He talked about the experience of how all the fans his uncle had. He talked about all the experience of different things and how they moved and how they made money, how they lost money, how they invested money with friends. And he had that clear path, understood what, when, and where. Yeah.
I remember Floyd back then, man. He knew what he wanted.
Yes.
As a young man, he already knew what he wanted. He was separated from all of us because he already had it planned out, seemed like, you know what I'm saying? So I remember when I got on the scale in Cleveland, Ohio. This how serious Floyd is about boxing. I was like weighing 124 on the scale that day. Floyd went back and told everybody, man, that I was 124. He's like, he can afford my weight. I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna make my weight, you know. So he's like, he was weighing 124, but because I really was I was a natural 119, but at the time I was going to an art school, so I would leave to go to the gym, and some days I couldn't train. And this is where they say you can't play boxing. Ain't no other alternative for it. Boxing's a jealous sport. So I was going to the art school and I was like overweight, like 4 or 5 pounds for the tournament. But Floyd really is that serious about the sport too. But you're doing overweight in the nationals, man. That is not cool. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, man, how was that sparring for you and Floyd, man, getting prepared for that? Because I know y'all work Purnell and all. I remember hearing stories about y'all going down to Norfolk and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. I'm be working with Purnell, Turo Gotti, Junior Jones. Who else, man? It was quite a few. Me jabbing, Judah was working with her. It was some good work, man. I mean, it was levels. It actually shows you different levels to it. You know what I mean? Boxing Purnell, he was so tricky. The first person I see can show you the left and it's coming to you, but then it stopped and you get it on the other side of your face. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? Like his face and body movement and positioning and footsteps is like, when they talk about the science of boxing, I learned that from Purnell. The science.
Yeah.
Just an inch of my foot move to the left can change the whole dynamics of everything you're trying to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's what happened, man. He took when we fought in the the Olympic child, Zahir took me to school.
Mm.
I can say it 20 years later now. I was too embarrassed
Don't give
to
me all
say
that
it
credit now.
Man, Zahir was a bad boy, man. He had
then.
a
It was, and I didn't know that they was only training about 5 miles away from me because I was training on the Navy base.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was on the Navy base. I knew that they was down there because we were sharing the same sperm. Sean Fletcher was my sperm partner.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So I knew that they was down there, but I just never ran into them except at the airport. It was David Toole was there too, and that's when I ran into him. But I didn't realize. Fletch would tell me that Zahir was fast. He told me he's real fast.
Yeah,
so
he was.
So I said, "There's no problem. I'm real fast too." But I didn't realize how fast and how Zahir had angles. Yeah, he had angles out the yin yang, man.
Yeah,
and it was the angles that did me in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that was training with Pernell Whitaker, man. The angles was killing me, and it got to the point where I got in between the rounds. I kept telling Coach, I was like, Coach, I'm missing. He didn't say one word. Coach Hunter didn't say one word. Now, normally he would say something, but he didn't say one word during the entire fight.
Wow.
And I was hyperventilating, man. I'm like, I'm missing, Coach. I'm missing. And there's nothing he could say. You know what I mean? You gonna lose this fight. That's basically that was basically the look he was giving me.
Right. That's funny.
I can't give you no advice. You gonna lose this fight. That's the only advice I'm giving you.
That's funny, man. And then to top it off, you find out it's your cousin though at the end of the story, man.
Yeah, that was in the box off when we was in Atlanta. I mean, not Augusta. We was in Augusta, Georgia.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
okay.
Yeah, and it was in now this is the part that was funny is that when I fought Zahir in the Olympic trials, we said, okay, he beat you this time. Now instead of you putting the pressure on Zahir, we're gonna outbox him.
Okay.
So I said, bet, I can do that. So when we got to the box off, I knew Zahir was expecting me to put pressure on him because that's what I do with everybody. I put pressure on him.
Right.
So, but this time I started outboxing and I was landing punches.
Okay.
And the score at the end of the first round, the score was tied up. It was 4-4.
Okay.
Right. They should have never told me the score.
Oh
because
yeah.
when they started telling me the score, Coach Hunter told me it was tied up. And so then me in the second round, I started thinking, I might win this fight.
Okay. So
I'm like, what happened if I beat him? You know what I mean? I'm thinking this as we're fighting.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what happened if we gotta fight again?
Did y'all do?
So,
was it like Olympic scoring with the button pressing with the style back then too? Yeah.
It was the best 2 out of 3. He already beat me once. He beat me in the Olympic trial.
Okay,
and so
it was a box off. The box
if he
off.
win again,
Yeah.
he's the Olympian.
Okay.
And so it was tied up after the first round. And then I started losing faith, man. I was like, wait, I started thinking about that beating that Clayton in the Olympic trial. Because I'm like, hold on, I ain't supposed to be winning. That's what I was thinking, that's crazy. I was like, it's 4-0. I'm not supposed to be winning. I'm supposed to be loser.
Right.
And I ended up thinking myself out of the fight, man.
Oh man, damn. Zahir was a bad dude, man. He threw a lot of punches, and they were fast though. Zip, 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 zip movement. Yeah.
Like I said, he was out of all the fighters I fought, man. It was so hard to hit him.
Yeah.
That's what was the ankles, man. I was like, where you get these ankles from? They was driving me crazy.
Yeah. That's that Philly, man. Philly. Philly fighting style, man. They you know what I'm saying? Some Philly dudes, they got that dog, they'll sit down with you and go and bang in there with you sometimes. Then you got some Philly fighters that can box the hell out you too, man. So, but he got some questions about your pro career, man. You got some more questions about your pro career.
All right, so I want to get to the after you go 25-0, you get to the Rocky Juarez fight, right? What was your thought going into that fight, knowing that it's in Texas? It's got Texas refs.
Well, before the fight, they asked me to fight Juarez, but I didn't want to take the fight because I couldn't make the weight.
Yeah, it's 126, right?
126. I mean, I ain't made 126 since I came out the Olympics. Right? So it wasn't my weight.
Mm-hmm.
So watch this. Watch how they told me, well, if you don't make it, you know, I mean, what we gonna do? I'm watching all my peers, you know, winning these fights on HBO on TV. It's like that's the only HBO give me a shot. What I'm gonna do? I gotta start cutting off lemons to make the weight. I ate protein shake for 3 months straight to make that weight.
Wow.
I looked sick on that scale, man. But make a long story short, yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible, man. I had to get an IV, you know what I mean, after the weigh-in, man. It was a horrible, you know what I mean? But I went into the fight, man. I went into the fight mentally to win, period. I don't care about this. Yeah, they did that and made me lose weight, but I wanted to win. You know what I mean? Bottom line.
And a lot of people thought you did. What's your thought on like even like Mills Lane and the outrage following that? Like Mills Lane writing a letter to the commission and everything, you know?
Well, I mean, you gotta think that was my first loss. And I know it wasn't a real loss. He took it from me. You know, I worked all my life to get there. So for somebody to just take something like that from me, man, it was very heart-wrenching. But coming home and leaving out of that arena, the outpour of support from the fans, man, was so overwhelming that it actually helped heal the pain from that loss. Okay. And then because of that loss is why Top Rank figured they can feed me the Iron Morales. So then they come tell me, okay, we want to fight at 135. I said, okay, that's fine with me. I was fighting at 130, so they made me go down and up to beat me. You see what I'm saying? I was fighting at 130 at the time. Then after Morales, they said, yeah, but you made him go up. I didn't make him do nothing. They called all the shots. Where the fight gonna be at, what weight it was gonna be, what time it was gonna be, how it was gonna be. When I went into that arena, I didn't see 20,000 fans for Zahir King Raheem. King Raheem. No. They was throwing stuff at me. I walked 2,000 people to get that win. I put in Connecticut. That's only what, 8 hours from Philly?
Yeah.
I didn't have all Philly in there. I didn't have United States with me. Nah, them Brazilians in there stomping that whole theater down. Blowing horns. Woo! I'm looking around like, damn, what's going on in here? Yeah. But Philly right down the street.
Right.
That's what I said.
So when you talk about business and boxing, it's two different things.
Facts.
I say it's crazy. They got you labeled as a tune-up going in against a guy who's coming up in weight, and it's like, as opposed to like your whole, you know, your background. You got the amateur pedigree, the Olympic pedigree. You should be 26-0. You know what I mean? Yep. and then they label you as a tune-up. It's like, was that something that like put a chip on your shoulder for that?
Not at all, because I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
They offered me to fight. I took the fight and said, okay. And I went to camp. I called my pop, my brother, like, yo, grab me a couple dollars, man. We got to go to camp. And then I called Bob Bam, like, yo, I need some money. Bob Bam didn't put me in camp and say, okay, we're gonna put you with Alex Ariza. We're gonna put you with the top conditioners and top athlete trainers we can to give you. No, they did that for Morales. I did that on my own because I watched growing up how going to camp sparring Purnell, that's how I got the experience to understand what I need to do to win for this fight. They don't understand how I did it by myself. They like, oh, it's impossible for them to go. We're not going to give him no support to win.
Right.
We're not going to give him no access to none of our resources for trainers, supplements, anything.
Wow.
With us. But when I won, it was a lot bigger than just beating him.
You know what's crazy? When my father was training a couple of pro fighters back in the days, he'd always come with some horror stories. And one of the horror stories is when you lose, how the promoters treat you after that.
Well, think about this. I don't know about that, but I can tell you that Morales, I was jumping up like, yeah, and I jumped on Todd the Buff. I looked at Bob Bram, and they both went like this to me.
Heard they was upset.
Yeah, that's about to ask, like, what was Bob's thing?
Like, I won, though.
Right. And look, and they still do you like that, though, because they thought they was burying you or somewhat trying to.
They wanted that Morales
stone for him, which backfired on a, you know what I'm saying? I want to say they, you know what?
I understand it was money.
Yeah.
But I didn't never, one thing about it, when I went to camp, I wasn't watching TV.
Yeah.
I was praying, working out, meditating, eating right, thinking about winning. But if I stay home and then train, watching TV, them tell me how I'm going to lose, I'm a 20-1 underdog, that would have fed into my spirit. And possibly it would have came into fruition. But because I didn't look at that and I didn't listen to that and I didn't believe it, I didn't understand it. I'm 46 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life.
Right.
Why? When I was fighting, I didn't have the internet. I couldn't look in there and get information.
Right.
So when I was fighting Mirage, and you having them fights like that, and you see them big fights, man, you got to remember, if you don't have a connect, it ain't what you know, it's who you know.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
And I don't know, man. You know, I ain't crying over spilt milk at all.
Yeah.
It was business. I enjoyed every minute of it, and everything that my purpose of going into boxing as a kid, I accomplished that, and I'm happy.
That's good, man.
You know what I mean?
So, man, advice for the future, man. Steve, you can answer this question as well, too, brother. What is y'all take on this the state of amateur boxing right now, man?
You know what, man? I can say one thing that I don't like about amateur boxers are the gloves.
Okay.
Gloves, did you notice the gloves?
Yeah, I don't like them.
I don't like them either. I don't like those gloves at all. They made for like slapping. You can't turn your punches over in those gloves. Maybe it's just me.
The headgear too. I don't like them headgears they got now either.
I mean, but I don't understand. Why you don't? I don't understand. I don't understand why you cannot like it. You ain't got to wear it.
That's true shit too, though.
Yeah. I forgot about that. You don't have to wear it.
Yeah.
I'm saying we don't. You don't.
Yeah.
You ain't wearing it no more.
Yeah,
you
nah, I'm not.
Them fighters the ones you have to ask how they like.
Yeah.
We ain't got to wear that crap.
Hey, what about the no headgear situation? How y'all feel about that?
I don't agree with that at all because I
don't. I think they should have headgear on.
Yeah.
They amateurs, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of them are just
they get a headbutt.
And they say they don't have a
headbutt, you get cut.
And they say if you don't have a cut, man, they don't have a cut, man. So if you get cut, they stop the fight. And
I had a fighter that happened to Carlos Monroe Jr. He went to the 2012, I think. 2012 Olympic trials.
Okay.
And he won them and got to the end and got cut and got put out. It was too deep. He got a headbutt.
Yeah.
Carlos Monroe Jr., man.
That's weird though how they do that because they say you only come with like two trainers come to the ring and there's no cut, man. So if you get cut, it's over. So that's
a lot of stuff in amateur boxing. It's just a spillover from professional boxing. Meaning, you know, the reason why they keep changing rules and things like that and keep changing because of corruption.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? That's why. So if they keep it one way and keep it where the scorecard's at, it ain't before long. Somebody's gonna find the glitch.
That's true.
They're gonna find that great area and start getting they probably doing. Look at Russia. You see why they banned them again?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you see why they're talking about not doing the Olympics again because of corruption. You gotta remember this. When you go professional boxing, you go to fill out that at least I want to be a boxer. Let's just say you just walk down the street one day and you say, you know what? I'm 18 years old, I want to be a boxer. And you start training for 5 years, you tell your trainer, I want to turn pro. Yeah. He's gonna tell you go get a license.
Yeah.
When you go get that license, do you know who give you that license?
Who give you the license? What, USA Boxing?
Federal government.
Federal government, that's facts.
The federal.
Yeah.
Why? Because of corruption.
Yeah.
You don't go get that license from a regular, if you go get an NBA license, what happens when you do that? You go from college to NBA.
Facts.
You get your certification, same thing NFL.
Yeah.
But you ain't got to go to the feds to do it.
Yeah. So this is another question too, bro, because I see you real big on this, and my guy Caesar always talks about this, man. How you feel about a reunion or some type of pension plan for boxers, man?
It's needed.
Yeah.
It's needed, man. It's needed because you got to remember, my son don't box. You ain't got to do it. I ain't do. You don't need that because I've been boxing since I was a kid. You got to remember, my brain wasn't even developed yet. So when you talk about, I deal with a lot of different mental issues from boxing, and I notice it. So when you say, well, what does that look like? Well, my brother told me I need to read a book called The Body Keeps the Score. And when I begin to read it, I begin to understand sometimes the way I feel, the way I think, the way I believe in things is not right. The way I react to things, this is not it's not normal.
Facts.
But to me, it's normal. So how do you know it's not normal? Because everybody else don't act that way.
I got you.
Right.
Makes
sense,
they
say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it could be anything from anger, man, to pain.
Yeah.
I mean, flashbacks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Sometimes I'll talk to you and I might just jump right off the subject and talk about something else. I might forget what we talking about in the next 2 minutes.
Hey, wait. Don't tell my wife this. Don't tell my wife that because she swears something's wrong with me, man. She swears something wrong with me, literally, man. She gonna see this and she gonna definitely run with this one, man, for sure. She blames boxing for everything, man.
Hey, think about this. You see all the research they've been doing on football players.
Yeah,
and
well,
CTE scans and
Yeah,
doing
right.
the research on the brain. But think about you in a sport that the goal is to hit the brain.
hit the head, exactly. Real talk, man.
Yeah.
And then and even football and in boxing, you have them kids doing it at a young age like that, man. It's just so dangerous for the brain, man.
That's real talk, man.
It's just dangerous, and it requires a lot of mental health afterwards. Just like going to war. When them fighters, when them soldiers see a lot of things over there in the wars, and they come back here, they got to be taught how to live like a civilian again.
That's real.
You know what
man.
happens when that brain keeps getting hit and keeps getting hit and keeps getting hit? It comes addicted to the pounding. So when you see fighters go in the ring, the first time they hit, they be like, "Damn, what was that? I never felt that before." Whoa.
Right.
But as they don't know how to defend themselves and not taught proper defense, what happens is they start getting comfortable getting hit until they don't mind getting hit.
That's
now
real
it's like,
true.
hit me, I'm gonna hit you.
That's
But
real
that
talk.
causes brain. The reason why is that the brain has been affected by the damage.
That's right. That's real, man.
So once they keep doing it, remember this: the brain don't start deteriorating from the damage until it stops.
That's real.
So my brain didn't start having problems until I stopped boxing, which was 7 years ago. I'm 46.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
now I got to deal with that damage. But
Yeah.
the income ain't coming no more. It ain't
Yeah.
coming with that health insurance no more. So who's
Yeah.
left to play to deal with that?
See, this is what we got to do, bro. I think I want, because I like what you're saying, man. And I want to sit down and create a think tank, man, of us former fighters, amateur or pros. Doesn't matter because we all been hit, you know.
And I'm gonna tell you the best way we're gonna have to do it is this. Because I'm gonna tell you, doing that, what it's gonna do is cost the sport money.
That's
why
facts.
there's no research in it.
That's
The
what he
promoters, the networks, they don't want to invest money into the fighters because now that means there is going to have to be some pension money taken out of the fighters, and they're going to have to go in their pocket and start doing things that's better for the fighters, but it doesn't help their business.
That's real talk, man. And that's what I was stating. We did a podcast before in the past, and I was stating that in order for to get things done like that, you got to lobby. You got to have a lobby. It has to be a Congress act.
Right, but remember this. Right, remember this. Those that can do it won't benefit from it.
That's real talk. That's real. They don't want to spend the extra money for that. They rather take you, let you go your crib, let you go somewhere, disappear, don't care what's your situation, and let you be who you be. Look, in this sport, like I tell people, man, this is a 95% sport because we lost a brother. This is a 99.5% sport where boxers leave it broke. You know what I'm saying? The athlete ends up broke when he leaves this sport. Hope we get the bro. We just lost Zahir. Hope he come in, man. Yeah, we just lost. Hold on 1 second. Hope he come in.
But yeah, that's a box I've been standing on, man.
Yeah,
like,
man. That's this man C's topic, man. For sure,
gotta
man.
give them, you know, something to protect the fighters from.
Hope his phone didn't die.
Protect the fighters from the commissions, from themselves, or you know what I mean. Protect their finances and health insurance, life insurance, and things like that. These things that's been thrown by the wayside in fighters' careers, man, and that's a shame.
But yeah, hope we get the bro. Hope we get him back on, man. I know sometimes when phone calls come through, it kind of throw us off a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. So hopefully come back in. But it's been a good.
Good.
Well, I said it's been a good interview so far, man. We basically got to talk about a whole lot of stuff that was necessary to be talked about, man.
Zahir hit on a lot of good points about healthcare and stuff like that. Because I wasn't even thinking my career wasn't as long as his career, and like he was hitting on a lot of things that I didn't even know.
Yeah,
I'm sitting there. He's schooling me right now over the phone. I didn't even think about some of the things that he said.
Man, likewise. I didn't know some of the stuff too, man. Yeah.
And so I'm like, dog, man, I didn't think about that. When he was talking about some of the stuff about, they call it PTSD.
PTSD.
And, some of the stuff that Zahir was just now saying, I was like, man, I didn't even think about it.
Me either, man. Because you come think about it, you kind of think different. You get angry, but you know, one of my things is I learned for some reason boxing helped me control that stuff, though, man.
It did. As for me, it did, but I also knew that after leaving the Navy and leaving the boxing team and coming back home, and it became quiet. It became real super. There was no more boxing.
Yeah.
There was no more training, and now everything is quiet. And I started longing for that competition again. You know, I started craving for that competition.
Likewise.
And it's weird, man. I should have been trying to settle down. It's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here I am. I'm craving for competition. I started calling promoters up and telling them we had a promoter here in York, Pennsylvania. It was a guy, he was 10-0.
Okay.
And I'm just leaving the Navy. And I called this promoter up and sent his promoter an email also. And I said, I want to fight your boy.
You sound like me.
You
sound like me, man. That's what I used to do. That too, man.
And you know what? I think that came from just all being constantly training and constantly pushing yourself to the absolute best. That if there's anybody in my neck of the woods that's in my weight class, I want to fight them. I don't care who they are.
That's that's your nature.
Yeah, right. And now that I'm thinking about it, you know, years later, I'm like, I actually did that. I actually called his promoter and I emailed him and I said, I want to fight your boy.
That's how you do, man. That's how we are, man.
I was 21 and I said, I want to fight your boy.
Wow.
I ain't even name him. I said, I want to fight your boy. And I never heard from him.
Wow. Hey, that's your nature, because it's competitive. You used to that. It's just something about that, man. It's natural. So it's not. I don't think it's unnatural to feel that way, though, man. Especially for you, man, because you was Olympian. So you know that's kind of, you knew you had more to offer the sport. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But then I couldn't. It got to a point I was so revved up. And I was so raised, I couldn't wait to fight. You know what I mean? I couldn't wait because I was fighting competition back to back. All those fights we had in the summertime, and then the Olympic trials, and then going on with Zahir, and then sparring with Floyd. It was always competition.
Exactly.
So it became that part of my lifestyle where I gotta have competition.
Second nature.
And I can't fight nobody that won't give me competition. You know what I mean? And so I think that, you know, that could have been a part of a mental health issue.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Where I was so wired up that I must seek competition, that I'm going to go through the course and I'm going to contact your promoter on my own. You know what I mean? And try to fight somebody, scream somebody over the phone, basically.
Wow.
Just to get a fight, you know what
I'm saying? I mean, that sounds like a fighter, though. That's what a fighter would do, though.
I didn't. It wasn't nothing professional about it. I was like, I want to see your boy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, that could have, that could have been either just seeking competition, or that could have been a mental health. It could have been
mental health problem. It could have been something of the nature like, listen, man, I ain't been hitting a while. I'm trying to. I think I can beat you. I think I want to challenge myself, and
I want to fight.
I was like that, man. In 2000, I made a comeback. Right? I tried to make a comeback in the amateurs. I was going to try for the 2004, but I was getting a little older. I was like, I let it go. I had kids and all that, but I was in there sparring all the little youngest, man, back then, man. But because I had to scratch that itch, man, I had to scratch it. You know, I couldn't help it.
You know, I've been wanting to come back ever since like 2 months ago. I've been always wanting to come back.
Me too.
He say the same thing.
The reason why I didn't is because I didn't know where to go. And then once my weight got above like 175, I'm not dropping down.
Likewise, man. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But man, we lost the brother, man. It's all good, man.
Good, yeah.
Steve.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you, brother,
he
for man.
knowledge while he was here.
Yeah, man. Hey, Zahir, man, I appreciate you, brother. When you get to see this, man, I appreciate both of you brothers, man. You know one thing for certain, two things for sure. We are brotherhood for life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That never changes, man. Once once a boxer, always a boxer. So, man, hey, Steve, you came all the way from work to make this happen, brother. I truly appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man.
And I wanted to give Zahir a shout out, man. Congratulations for making the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame.
Yes, indeed.
Hall of Fame, man.
So, I helped put you in there. You beat me twice.
Yes, indeed, man.
Congratulations, cuz.
Congratulations, man. Ladies and gentlemen, for those that don't know, Steve and Zahir are cousins. They both fought in Olympic trials and the box off. They was the #1 and #2 best 119 fighters at the 1996 Olympic trials. They were both Olympians. Fought each other as cousins. Steve didn't know he was his cousin, who he was, but Zahir knew that was his cousin. So, man, that is a hell of a story, man. Ladies and gentlemen, man, Zahir Raheem and Steve Carter.
Thanks for your time,
I appreciate you, brothers, man. The second win, Boxing Media. Peace.
Peace out, bro.
Peace, bro.